Kia ora tātou, good afternoon. I'm Brendon Burns and it's my pleasure to introduce this panel session. Phew, I thought I'd got out of politics. And I've got to say, in my past life, and while I'm talking, could I invite Tim and Katherine and Emily to come and join us on the panel, because it's them who are going to answer the questions, particularly, I suspect, Tim. In my role as MP for Christchurch Central, I had a lot to do with some of the early insurance claims. I, of course, also took a place at times in the bear pit of Parliament, but that rock throwing was only akin to some of the material we've heard, particularly from our last speaker. And I'm also involved in encouraging and supporting regions around New Zealand to play a role in the rebuild. So I guess that leads me to this panel chair role this morning. We've heard some quite strong claims, and that's an understatement. This morning, what I'm proposing this afternoon, what I'm proposing to do is invite Tim Grafton, who's the Chief Executive of the New Zealand Insurance Council, to take 5 minutes to respond, and then ask our other panellists to share 5 minutes to take a view on some of the issues that have been raised, and then open to your questions. The good news is we're running ahead of time. So I guess we might start, Tim, with you. I suppose it might be a case of dispute, defend and deliver.
Something like that. Do you want me up there or here? I think so. Kia ora, and thanks very much. I don't have a book to sell, so I'm just going to speak and respond, if I can, to the previous two speakers, and then try and talk about future insurability in the short few minutes that I have. Yes, there has been confusion, frustration, anger, misunderstanding in the community, and mistakes have been made for all involved in the recovery, including insurers, and there's a vast room to improve. But there is no venal, money-grabbing insurance monster out there trying to delay, deny, or defend. Do anything but settle. Demonising insurers is convenient, but here it is a fiction. It is not in the interests of the New Zealand, Australian and taxpayer-owned insurers, EQC and Southern Response being owned by you, to delay. Because for the latter, the political reasons are obvious. For the Anzac insurers, not the American insurers, owned IAG, Insurance Australia Group, Lumley, Wesfarmers, and Vero by Suncorp out of Brisbane, they are not getting financially better off by delaying claims. They want to get the claims off their books as soon as possible. That's what their shareholders would like to see, but here they're committed to repair and rebuild till the very end so that people have safe, sustainable houses into the future. The offshore reinsurers who will pay the vast majority of the claims in Canterbury are the ones on whom the first call on claims come, not those insurers I've referred to. The longer it takes to rebuild, and this is the experience in catastrophes worldwide, the more demand surge cost inflation around buildings occur, and that will run to double digits. And that will be far in excess of any money retained by insurers and reinsurers in the bank, earning less than 3% after tax on their bank deposits. So some people have suggested time limits to settle claims. In this environment, in the complexity that we've had, the multitude of events over 5.0, 56, the last in May last year, several of these requiring reapportionment, reassessment because of the model that we have in New Zealand, the one that we have to work with under the circumstances that they're there. Those are some of the issues that have created the delays. And I'd also point to the fact that we also have a lot of staff, thousands of staff in Christchurch working for these insurers. They have similar claims as well, and they're trying their damnedest to try and settle them as fast as possible. And fifthly, insurers are here for the long haul. Their reputations are on the line. The easiest thing would be to sign the checks and cut and run. That would save them the money, but they're not doing that. So in terms of the thesis of delay, I don't believe that that applies here. What insurers do want is a safe, sustainable rebuild, so Christchurch is the most insurable city in the world. That means continuing to give confidence to global reinsurers who have been spooked by the insured cost of Canterbury coming to almost the same as the Tohoku tsunami, which followed the February 22nd disaster by a couple of weeks. We have to ensure that Canterbury, that New Zealand, is still a place they can have confidence to place insurance. Without their money, there would be no recovery, and the whole economy would be taking a severe hit. So that also means following what policy contracts say, very transparently. They have committed their reinsurance money on the basis that those legal contracts are followed to the letter. If not, they may refuse payments or they may deem New Zealand as a higher risk because legal contracts are ignored. So this means that a repairable property in the red zone is a repairable payment, not a total replacement, even if you can't repair. That seems bizarre, it is counterintuitive, but now it is for the courts to decide what the grey area of the law created by the red zone means. But insurers did not write policies anticipating a red zone. Government created it with the best of intentions to find a way for compensating people with options where the land was so bad. They made those decisions with the best of intentions as quickly as possible after the quake struck. But the best of intentions can have unintended consequences. So, just so others have found that total replacements reverted to repairs because building standards were changed. The background here is building and housing required certain level of foundations. If the level was disturbed, all that had to be taken out and replaced. But during the course of the process, the rules changed, the levels were opened up, and that meant that houses that were once total replacements now became repairable. The rules changed. Yeah, we may have failed in terms of communicating to people some of those issues, but they're there. Okay, well, that's my response to that, but if you want to ask me some questions about future insurability, addressing some of the questions about EQ going forward, then I'm happy to do that. It says 3:38 there, not 5 minutes.
Sorry, the clock was showing 10 minutes, not 5 there, Tim.